Welcome to the Fatigue Files, a podcast that explores fatigue conditions from as many angles as possible while pushing the boundaries of thinking about fatigue as a signal to the 21st century and beyond. Cutting-edge thinking, practical strategies, thought-provoking explorations. They're going to all be here, and I'm your host, Anna Greer, welcoming you to this edition of the Fatigue Files.
I went into it with, no expectations and just not hoping for any particular changes. I just knew, because I knew you, that it would be really good. I thought, even if nothing changes physically for me, I know that it'll have a good effect emotionally and, psychologically, and that on its own is worth it. And it's been amazing. I have had some physical changes already.
There are things so deeply ingrained in me that I want to look at and heal.
Anna, because you have captured my interest as far as neuroplasticity. I think that there was enough that I learned from you one-on-one in coaching that I was like, wow, there's a lot more power to neuroplasticity than I thought. And your program happened to appear at a time where I don't know how to say, restructuring, moving out of some of my old patterns of what I considered self-care. And your blueprint arrives at a time where I kind of needed to restructure that. And I'm very thankful for it. So yeah, health reasons, interest in neuroplasticity and how this can best help me with where I am in my journey.
I kind of collapsed with chronic fatigue about 20 years ago. I'd had a virus before, and I'd had kind of quite a lot of stress over the years. Yeah, I started kind of recovering once I'd given up work, surrendered to it, accepted it, and then very, very slowly started to rebuild. And I kind of reached a certain point and didn't get any better. I sort of plateaued. And then I did the Gupta program, and that just helped me back to a kind of level of coping and recovery. And then I was okay for a few years and kind of did quite, was fairly, I know at times I felt I was recovered, for perhaps a few years. I'd look back and say that was that phase of my life. I used to have that. And I finally crashed about 2 years ago. That's when I really crashed. And my nervous system went into complete overload. And actually, the Transformation Blueprint program has been the only thing that has helped calm my nervous system.
Well, it gives you so many tools, breathing tools, somatic things, going into trance, asking your own self how to heal these things, how to deal with what's going on.
Because there seems to be a lot more, I think it was the way you have presented the science. For some reason, in my training, up until having met you and the way you present these materials, I was just like, yeah, we can retrain our brains. But it was as simple as that. It was more like compelling evidence. I think the story that got me was the one about the piano player, because I am a piano player. And I haven't played for a long time because of physical kinds of conditions that I live with. Like it kind of stopped the piano playing. And so I started toying around with that idea. The science you presented was like two groups, and then one group actually physically practiced and the other group just completely imagined it. And then I was like, I wonder what it would be like for me just to imagine playing the piano without playing it, because I know what it feels like from having done it. And how would I feel since I've had such an absence of playing? And I started to feel better by imagining playing the piano. And so, because you presented the science a certain way, and then I played around with it, I was like, yes, I do have more control over my state. Like even the things that, like, I've been doing anchoring and state changes, but it was like becoming more real for some reason. I love the way you teach and present materials, and my brain likes it and has finally got it. It was like light bulb.
Because once you know how it works, you can just adapt it to any situation, any tiny thing that comes up in your life. So I had this thing with the washing up where, because I have POTS, when I, upright doing something, my heart rate goes really fast and it feels really uncomfortable. So I get just anxiety about doing the washing up, which meant that I wouldn't do it. I would just leave it, and then I had no plates left, and then I had to do it. So I thought, okay, well, I know what to do. I took myself into trance and borrowed from a famous tennis player the feeling of hitting a really good drive volley winner, which I haven't done for a long time. And so pulled that feeling of confidence into my body, and then imagined doing the washing up. So identified the kind of tiny trigger that was triggering my anxiety about it, and painted that feeling of confidence over doing the washing up. And I did that for, several times over a couple of weeks. And now I don't get anxiety about doing it. I just do it as I'm going along. And it's not that I don't have the symptoms anymore. I do get really, uncomfortable symptoms when I'm doing it, but I'm not focusing on them and I'm not anxious about them.
Being more calm has just meant that my whole system is not so fatigued. And I was just constantly at such a high pitch of activation. So, and with that, the kind of feelings of depression have lifted as well.
The rumination, the chatter, despite having, I've been meditating for 15 years, I think. And my meditations can be pretty good sometimes. But, off the cushion is a different thing. Attacking that rumination off the cushion is just so important. It's really helpful. I was looking back at my notes and, the steps that you taught on the course, and you kind of make your own little quirky version of that, and so you make it your own. And now, I had this experience. I had a great experience where I didn't need it, where I was feeling so great because I was in a loving, happy space at my daughter's wedding, and I gave a speech, and I was so comfortable. And I thought, wow, this is really helping me. It's so great.
Yeah, there's two major components. First of all, there's the self-directed everything, not just neuroplasticity, but I like the way it's set up online. And it enables me to go at my own pace and focus on the things where I really want to develop versus things that I might know. Okay. But the other major element that I think is important is the group coaching calls, because I have found such a level of, I don't know, it's kind of like I get to be like a witness for how other people's journeys and how they incorporate the materials, how it's really affecting them. Like it's expressing in different ways, but it's very helpful. And it also holds me accountable to be like, well, I could throw the dice and see how this turns out. It makes me want to, show up for myself a lot more when I see other people doing that for themselves.
I think I've just developed a trust in my own body that it knows what it needs. And I'm not consciously aware of what it's doing and at any one time. So I don't need to worry about if one day I feel like I need a bit more rest, I don't need to worry about what that means and whether I'm getting better or worse overall. I don't need to attach any story to it. I could just listen to it and trust it. And I think I'm much more attuned to my body. So I can pick up much faster, when I need a bit more rest or, whatever it is I need.
I haven't seen everything that's out there, but as far as taking elements, it's a very eclectic class, but the order of it specifically, it really resonates with me because I am someone who as a kid, and maybe because I was kind of born the way I am, like my chosen path was to stay in my head a lot of the time. And so the structure of the course, it's like it gently got me to consider imagining rather than just thinking that I'm feeling. Like there's no way I could just jump into developing higher states of consciousness until I first settle this mechanism here and begin to see possibilities and then play around with certain tools and then more gently come into the body. Because, the body is such a focus, like, for most of us, like if we've dealt with some sort of illness, like we have this relationship with our body, but it tends to be very cerebral. And mine was formulaic. If I do A plus B, I will get the C result. That's not self-care, Anna. But I told myself that was because I'm doing A, I'm doing physical exercise, I'm doing B, I'm taking those supplements. And so therefore I, should have this result. But now it's a lot more than that. And so I love the creative ways we get, just new pathways built, because without those pathways being built and massaged a little bit and then gaining trust within ourselves that we have more choice and control than what we thought, I don't think I could expand at the end of your program. I think it's brilliant. I really like the way you've laid it out and that you've incorporated all these pieces.
Yeah, the community means a lot to me. And then the go-tos. So having the website, having the structure of where all the tools are, or just an experience where thinking I'm not even in a learning mode today. I'm just going to do this meditation, or I'm just going to do this hypnosis, and I'm going to feel better. So I'm just going to do that.
But yeah, just to relax into the process and trust that there is some, there's some inner wisdom in the body and, intelligence there that is not within our conscious understanding.
I think it's because it's kind of it's kind of coming in at a physiology level rather than a cognitive level. So it's a lot more somatic. And I think that's what's needed.
It's where you get the really deep things, because I think, my trauma is small t trauma, and I really have minimized it, made it really small t. But it was I think most of it was pre-verbal, just being a really small child in a family that was almost full of adults. And it was not, I was surrounded around people that didn't have a lot of skills. No, they're all good people, essentially, but trying to get to that layer of when you're a child, when you're not verbal, when those things happen to you, when you were so young. I think because, for one thing, the resources are all there for all the other things as well. So that's very affirming. That the other courses that I've taken, I can see, oh, she's got the same idea. She's got these ideas about healing, about diet and about other physical things. So that's affirming to the other things that I'm trying to do. But I think I think it's about feeling seen.
I feel like we end up talking about the sort of, spiritual development as just as much as we talk about, how many grams of protein you need and things like that. So what I love about it is that the videos are really short. So because I struggle to watch things for, too long. They're all really short, so you can just kind of go at your own pace. And I was, worried at the beginning that I would not get through it in time, but yeah, I know that I will. So the hypnosis recordings are just brilliant. Just you can just lie back and relax and go on this magical journey in each of them. And I know that they've had a profound effect, on my unconscious already, because I have, since I've been ill, struggled to keep sugar and caffeine out of my diet because, they give me a bit of fake energy for a bit. And from just a week of listening every day to the Limitless Possibilities hypnosis, after that, it was just no problem at all. My diet's been perfect ever since.
So, you are here at the beginning of your adventure again. The question is, why are you here this time? Do you seek courage? Or an answer, perhaps? Are there clues that turn up and tempt you to press forward, to here, to now? Do you, perhaps, seek total transformation? Are you in need of new possibilities? Maybe you don't know exactly. You just know that something needs to shift and that it has to be here. It has to be you, and it has to be now. There's something, isn't there? Something you can let go of, something you can learn, something you can step forward into, perhaps. No matter. Here you are, and it is, by definition, the right time, the right place, and the right journey for you. And the journey can take you far into the change that comes when you find what you seek. The answers to the questions you have can lead you, can they not? And you are, aren't you, more than you are right here, right now, and above and beyond who you are. There is the you who you are not yet, that you always and everywhere, and yet only here, now, in this moment, you're here, and that's the right place and the right step, is it not? So this is the step into adventure beyond limits that takes you towards the limits of all the limitations, into the limitlessness of the unlimited, where limits themselves are limited by the possibilities of the unlimited. Are you ready? Then let's begin.
And I think that knowing that we'll, be able to keep in contact after the year is up means that there's a bit more commitment and vulnerability, and we're building relationships for life. I find
one of the key components of the course is about health optimization work, and what has been really clear for me is that the information in the course is honed down to the more specifics of what actually works. Within the health optimization industry, there's so much out there and so much conflicting advice eat this, don't eat that, drink this, don't drink that, and so on and so forth. And actually, I do feel that you've done the research and have honed everything down to really what matters, and that then forms its own health optimization blueprint. Changing my circadian rhythm and my sleep, I'm suddenly sleeping, which I haven't slept for I haven't slept properly for 2 years. So to now be sleeping 7-8 hours a night, I feel a different person.
Yeah, people have got a lot of knowledge, and we've obviously all been on a journey with chronic illness, which has its own is sort of its own spiritual path. And I think, being able to share that with other people who also understand what it's like. Yeah, just to realize that, your consciousness is unchangeable and unaffected by the illness. So there's, this concept of recovery and trying to get back to your life before, that sort of falls away, I think, once you've really embraced the spiritual potential of that journey.
So those are voices of some of the people on the Healing Transformation Blueprint program. You probably gathered that the program's got 2 main elements and a permanent community. So there's an online learning component, a very well-structured course that you can take at your own pace, with all sorts of very practical short videos that take you straight into extremely practical exercises and experiences. And then there are the weekly group coaching calls, which are more like amazing incubational healing spaces where we co-emerge learning and evolution and healing together, which is quite extraordinary. And then as well as that, you've got permanent access to a private Facebook community you'll be able to keep indefinitely. So you don't have to lose relationships that you've built on the course. So the online learning component has 6 main stages, but it's important to understand that you can take those at your own pace and you can join at any level, because the people already on the course will help the people joining the course. And everyone coming on the course, in any case, has experiences, knowledge, and insights to share. So it gets really, really rich. And honestly, I've just been quite blown away by the quality of the engagement and the things that come up, the experiences that we share, the kinds of fields of consciousness and energy that we experience together. That said, the 6 stages of the formal online structured component are aimed at doing very specific things. The first level really introduces you to the incredible nature of human possibility and blows apart unconscious limitations. The second level invites you into an extended self-calibration exercise. So that's basically a checklist that you go through with all the foundations, the layered foundations of human well-being, from physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual layers. And it might take a whole life to be able to say, yes, I'm doing all these things, but that doesn't matter, because it's about seeing the root, beating the confusion, really understanding what the body, emotions, mind, and spirit need in order to flourish, and then spotting the low-hanging fruit and being able to put those in place. And the third layer is about really building agency, breaking out of a sense of limitation in very practical terms. So self-directed neuroplasticity, which is an incredible capacity to change your emotional and mental states, your physiological states at will. Self-hypnosis training, which is an incredible skill, an amazing life skill to have. And then the fourth layer takes you deeper into the body, into the unconscious. So there's somatic exercises, dream work, and some free-form protocols for working with your own unconscious mind. And then the fifth layer is about intuition, the science of intuition and intuitive training, learning to really sense what's happening inside and outside the body and all the flood of information that comes when we're not stuck in a narrow cognitive reality tunnel. So that's really quite extraordinary layers to do with coming home to yourself at the deepest level. And then the sixth layer is really about awakening, moving forward into very mature spirituality, awakened states of consciousness, but also profound, guided hypnosis designed to elicit spiritual characteristic, primarily love, joy, equanimity, and compassion. And all those layers work together in a very calibrated way. And then in the weekly group coaching, those layers might come up organically. People just bring what they're experiencing or questions they have. And that's really quite extraordinary, because we might go from discussing the kind of finer details of circadian hygiene to really build in powerful health practices in clean sleep, efficient sleep. Or we might be moving through discussing experiences that come up in meditation, or discussing the more refined aspects of relating to the unconscious mind through self-hypnosis, or any one of 1,000 things, or things that people just bring. Because the wonderful multiplication of wisdom that comes from the group means that we can go anywhere and everywhere. And the key to it is creating this really attuned space in which everyone's deeply present to each other, in which no one dominates, in which it's not around any one person, although amazingly, often people get deeply individual focused attention, whether that's holding a healing space for someone who's struggling, or whether it's helping someone draw on something they need to draw on, with the wisdom of the group being offered in support of them. It's really hard to put into words how it works, because it really is truly extraordinary. And I do believe it's absolutely unique. I think everyone on it would say it's unique. It's unique in the sense that it's not like recovery programs out there. It's going much deeper into a lifelong process of profound healing and evolution. And it's a really exciting journey in which people at various stages of their journey support each other. So if you're interested in finding out more about this unique life-changing opportunity, just write to me at hypnocatalyst1@gmail.com. That's hypnocatalyst1@gmail.com. And I'd be very happy to have a conversation with you so that you can find out if this is your next move, your next step forward. Do you seek courage? Or an answer, perhaps? Do you, perhaps, seek total transformation? Are you in need of new possibilities? Maybe you don't know exactly. You just know that something needs to shift, and that it has to be here. It has to be you, and it has to be now. Are you ready? Then let's begin.